Hey guys, I'm Sage Valentine and I'm back to do another review of CBS's Big Brother Season 18, Episode 32, so let's just get down to it. Now I have a few notes of what I saw on Thursday night as well as what I caught up with this weekend. It's not much, but I figured I will read this for all of those that do not have the feeds or those who have fallen behind. So Nicole went HOH after James fell. Natalie was happy that Nicole won, and at that point I was just like, why? I was like, you might be in danger. Like, why are you super happy? Paul made a deal with Nicole to put up James and Natalie if he won HOH, and then she would put up James and Natalie if she won HOH. Okay. Nicole said this to Corey, and I think they were in the bathroom at that time after the Loch Ness Monster competition. Nicole said James was going to fall, which is why she made the deal. And she claimed she was not putting up Paul. So when I found out that Paul was nominated, I was a little bit confused. Until, of course, I paid attention to what was posted on social media this weekend, as well as watching this episode. I'm like, okay, now it makes a whole lot of sense. Nicole is under the impression that the jury didn't want her to win HOH. I wonder where she got that from. And she credits Paul for her HOH win because he was literally motivating her, because I kept wondering while I was watching, because funny story, I was watching the HOH competition while I was recording my review from Thursday, so I literally had another screen up and I'm like looking at it, and then I was like, okay, it's time to record the next part of the review. But anyway, Nicole was upset because I think Paulie, if memory serves, was the only person that hugged her, and the other jury members didn't, and she was upset, and she was asking why they hated her, and I'm just rolling my eyes like, you know why they hate you. Like, I mean, no one needs to tell her after the things she did in the game. It's not personal, but at the same time, people are going to be upset if they're taken out of the game all because of you, and they thought they could trust you, and now they can't trust you. I mean, it happens every season as far as I've seen. So I get the impression while watching the feeds that no one likes Nicole, and if memory serves, because I forgot to label who said this, but I think this might have been Michelle who said it sucks that Victor came back, because I guess she wanted either Day or Zakiya to come back into the house. While she's talking with Natalie, because she's kind of venting because she's upset, you can tell that Michelle knows that she is the target at this point, which obviously she was, but she's aware of the fact. Natalie's just kind of like, okay, she feels safe and just like whatever about being nominated. She's just like, it's just a game. And I'm sitting back and I'm wondering, like, if she was in the position that Michelle was in at this point, would she feel the same way? So Natalie's sitting down, she's talking to James, and they say they need to take out Paul and Victor. James was complaining about all of the twists that happened this season. On a side note, I'm happy that there are so many twists because it keeps the house guests on their toes. I was tired of watching seasons where the house guests became a little bit too comfortable, and I am happy that Big Brother decided to shake things up, and I hope they do it even more in season 19 and on the online season that is coming soon as well. So I learned that Paul and Michelle were nominated. Michelle is upset because Victor was ignoring her after she was so nice to him. Natalie is hosting veto, but it really doesn't seem like she cares much about the veto. She's just like, I mean, who could blame her? She's pretty much safe at this point in the game. So let's just get down to this review. Now, as far as the HOH/Battle Back number 2 competition, the Loch Ness Monster is concerned, for those of you that didn't have the feeds, and you're probably all upset, like, I didn't get to see the competition when it happened. To be honest, when you watch the feeds, we don't get to see it in its entirety, because we will see like a part and then it gets cut off, and then all of a sudden somebody's gone, and then it gets cut off and cut off. I think the majority of what I saw as far as the competition on the feeds, the majority of what was shown was the whole Paul, James, and Nicole situation, if memory serves. So Victor was pretty much evicted, and he came back again, and I get the feeling that the next time he's evicted, he's not returning. Victor claimed that he would win HOH and take shots at people. Victor didn't try to win HOH, and he actually could have. He didn't try. Paulie and Davon said that they wanted revenge. James makes it clear he's not coming off the wall, and I'm just like, I'm not surprised, because this is one of his favorite competitions, and it's something that he's good at, because out of everybody on the wall, James is literally the smallest. So the competition is a lot easier for him to duck down and kind of chill, because he doesn't have that much body weight. Despite that fact, he doesn't have that much body weight to hold up as they bend forward and go backwards, so he's good. Paul is the biggest baby in the house, according to Michelle. And this was said during that argument that I spoke about in my review. I think it was episode 31. So if you want to know more in depth about that particular fight, if you did not watch that review, definitely check out my previous review. Watch the first few minutes. I break it all down, because that argument went on for a while before the feeds went kaput so they could get ready for the live show. Paul called Michelle the C word. It's not the first time he said it, so I'm just like, oh, here he goes again. Natalie defended James, and Paul started talking about how Natalie and James were like a unit. They worked together. Natalie admits that she wants Victor to stay, and this comes as a surprise to Nicole, because Nicole is just like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be in an alliance with you and James, and all of a sudden you now want Victor to stay. Like, I'm not feeling this. Like, Nicole was just like, I'm scared, Natalie's a liar, I just want you to stay, Corey. She's talking to Corey. Nicole says she can't trust James and Natalie, and I'm just like, okay, let's see where this goes, because I missed that part of the feed, so I was so focused on Paul and what Paul was saying, as Paul was just going on a tangent. Paulie pretty much, during the Loch Ness Monster competition, got the brunt of the water, and what I mean is that cold spray was just all up in his face. I felt sorry for him. Victor tries to motivate the girls, but after a while, Zakia's just like, listen, I can't do this. Davon's like, you can't? Okay, well, I will jump with you. Do you want me to jump? They grab hands, they jump, Thelma and Louise style. Everybody on Twitter was having a fit, on Tumblr was having a fit. Some people on Facebook were upset. Me, as a fan of Davon, I'm not upset. Davon can return to paradise. She's happy. I'm okay with that. I mean, she's not happy that she couldn't return into the house, but she gets to be calm and cool and relaxed, and hey, I'm all here for it. James seems to be comfortable. Paul wants to win, and Paul says he doesn't trust anybody in the house, so I guess he doesn't trust Victor anymore. Unless, of course, that was the edit, and the edit wants you to think that he doesn't trust Victor anymore. Corey, to be honest, was funny in this competition, because Corey, to me, just gave up. It's like he didn't even try. He was just like, oh, I can't do this jump. I hope Nicole wins. I'm like, this dude just does not want to do the heavy lifting in this showmance at all. After a while of getting doused in the face, Nicole starts looking like a raccoon, because her mascara starts running, or her eyeliner starts running. I don't know that much about makeup, so I'm just saying it was either one of the two or both, but she just had like dark circles around her eyes and started running down. I'm just like, why would you wear makeup if you knew you were going to be in this competition? Like, that would be the one thing you should just forget. It's like, put a little lipstick on or some rouge or whatever. Again, I don't know that much about makeup. So Bridget fell. She lost her footing. I believe, like the people said on social media, that it was because of her Converse sneakers. They don't really offer that much traction. I used to wear Converses back in the day, and when it starts raining, it's like you're slipping around. Paulie almost fell, but he saved himself, and he decided to motivate himself because he was like, listen, I am bigger than Victor, and if Victor can hold himself up, then I can hold myself up as well. And I'm just asking myself, why is Paulie wearing those short shorts looking like Deputy Dangle from Reno 911? Anyway, all of a sudden Paulie fell. Victor automatically became the battle back returnee, I guess you could say. And then all of a sudden he slips and he falls, so he's counting on Paul. And it's down to Paul, James, and Nicole. They're on the block. Nicole's like, I'm holding on. I can't trust anybody. Paul all of a sudden fell, but he doesn't want James to win. He wants Nicole to win because he feels like he's cool with Nicole. Nicole says to James that she wants a letter from home. James wants a fourth win. I mean, really, it went back and forth for a little while until James just decided that he wanted to throw the competition, and he really didn't jump down. He kind of sat down, and he slipped, and there was like some brush or something, and he kind of went down towards there. I would be mad at him if I was surprised that he threw it, but I'm not surprised at all. Not surprised. So pretty much the reactions to Nicole's win are as follows. Paul's happy, wants to work with her. Michelle's worried. And James feels safe because he's still working with, or at least he thinks at this point that he's still working with Nicole and Corey. After the HOH competition, Michelle is worried because she and I guess other people don't believe that Nicole will put up Paul, especially after they're supposed to be cool. Nicole starts talking about how she feels a little iffy of James and Natalie. And Nicole really wants Michelle to go home. But James made a deal with Nicole to be sure that he and Natalie were safe for the week. But he didn't save Michelle, and Michelle's a little upset about that. And again, I'm not surprised because James is only thinking about himself and Natalie. Michelle is pretty much on her own. She has no one to cling to. Paul reveals that Victor is pissed off at everybody, at everything, because he was kicked out, but he came back in, but he's still not happy that he was put out again. Vic and Paul realize that they need Corey and Nicole. Natalie's just disappointed in James because of the fact that she feels like he could have won the HOH. And again, I'm not surprised about that because of the fact that James had no intention of winning that HOH, because if he wanted to win it, he would have won it. I think that James is doing what he did in season 17, and he's just like chilling out because he feels comfortable in this game. And I think that's the most dangerous feeling you can have in Big Brother, when you feel very comfortable. And James is never one to make really, really big moves. And Natalie wonders if Corey and Nicole would keep James over her. And I believe that they would. And if Corey wins HOH during the double eviction, Natalie's going to go bye-bye. That's what I believe, unless, of course, she wins another HOH. Paul tells Nicole that he and Victor are loyal and that Michelle, Natalie, and James are shady. And he's just like, if you want to make a deal, now is the time. But Nicole's just like, Paul and Victor could flip-flop back and forth. She's not sure. But she says to Corey, like, she could work with Paul and Victor. She feels like it's the better option. And Corey still holds on to that, I guess you could call it a bit of a grudge against James, because James is the reason why Zakiya was voted out. Well, he was part of the reason why. And because of that, Paulie got upset, and then Paulie was kicked out, and those were his and Nicole's two besties. And that put them in a pickle, and by them I mean Nicole and Corey for a bit. And someone asked, what have Paul and Victor done to us? Nothing that they can see, but they're clearly moving things around at this point, and things are going in Paul and Victor's direction. If Paul manages, on a side note, to make it out of this week, Paul is truly a contender to win this game, in my opinion. Nicole says that they have to team up with the best people. Paul and Victor are obviously the best people in their eyes. Nicole wants to keep her final two deals. For those of you that don't know, Nicole and Corey have final two deals with James and Natalie, and Paul and Victor. And Nicole wants to make sure to keep James and Paul at each other's throats. She wants to keep her word, and I'm just like, good luck with that, because eventually both sides are going to see what's going on, and it's not going to be pretty. If somebody from one of these two sides wins HOH, once they figure out what's going on, in my opinion, it's not going to be pretty. So Corey wins America's Care Package. People on social media this weekend were having a fit because they're just like, how the heck did Corey win America's Care Package? Nobody was voting for him. Blah, 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 blah. People are saying that production sabotaged it. All this stuff. I'm just like watching the episode, and I'm like, why doesn't Corey grasp the concept of what the BB bribe means? And on a side note, Big Brother is so shady for sending Corey that jockstrap. But anyway, Corey's just like trying to figure out what he's going to do with the BB bribe. And he's like, oh, I can use this to bribe people to do stupid things. And Nicole's just like, no, honey, no. You have to use it for game stuff. And I'm just rolling my eyes. So at this point in the game, Nicole and Corey pretty much have all the power. He has the $5,000 BB bribe. She's the HOH. And they're both trying to figure out what's America telling them to do with this money. And I'm just like, I don't know either. And Nicole decides that Corey should hold on to that money until he really, really needs to use it, because that BB bribe will last until the next HOH competition. James at this point isn't worried. He figures that Nicole won't betray him and put up Natalie and backdoor her or backdoor James. And I'm just like, not yet, but eventually she may have to do that. Nicole sees Michelle as a bigger threat, and she talks to Paul and Victor in the room, and she asks Paul to go up as a pawn, and Paul's just like, listen, this is my 5th time going up as a pawn. And I'm just like, as far as I'm concerned, when people keep volunteering to be pawns over and over and over again, eventually they end up getting voted out. If Paul can last this week and not get evicted, then Paul, as I said, is a contender. But if he gets voted out, then that pawn curse that has been floating through each season will continue. So Nicole, Corey, Paul, and Victor all decide to name themselves and their alliance as the Final Four, because I guess of all the crazy alliance names, I'm like, okay, that's simple. Final Four, I'm good with that. Nicole's gut is telling her she can trust Victor and Paul. I'm just like, Victor and Paul and that plan is ridiculous, and if it brings those two to the end, I will tip my hat, because everything Paul said would happen is happening at this point. So Nicole nominates Michelle and Paul. So when it comes down to nominations, Nicole makes a pretty straightforward speech to both Michelle and Paul. She tells them that they both are intelligent, they're both after her, and they're both threats to her game. I'm sitting here like, normally in Big Brother, the HOH will make a speech and will include points for each person that he or she is nominating. The fact that the fact that Nicole is just like, both of you, is a huge red flag. But unfortunately, Michelle doesn't feel like she's in danger at all at this point, and she wants to lay low because Paul is the bigger threat than she is. And I'm just shaking my head. James hopes that he and Natalie don't get backdoored. They won't yet. Paul being the pawn and being nominated is the only way that Nicole could hide this alliance and friendship that she has with Paul and Victor, and obviously Corey. And Paul's just like, send the vomiting, crying super fan home. So that's about it, guys. I mean, I know this review is just like huge, but there was a lot to talk about in terms of this episode. You guys take care. Yesterday I was watching the VMAs. I think the best part of the VMAs was Beyonce. I mean, Britney did a good job. Rihanna was alright, but Beyonce was major. And I caught up on some of my shows, but not all of them. But I didn't want to keep you guys waiting too long, so I decided to do this review. So until next time, I will be back on Wednesday. I will be reviewing this episode, and we can chat all about that veto. And yes, I know who won it. I just don't know how they used it or didn't use it yet. But anyway, guys, I love you all. Bye, guys. Bye.